Hi, I am author J.B. Vample. I am self-published of 2 books in a 9-book series. The series is called the College Life series. College Life 101, Freshman Orientation, and College Life 102, Social Learning are books 1 and 2 of the series. I started writing this at the age of 17. I was still in high school, getting ready to graduate high school and go to college in the fall. And you know, my imagination runs rampant, so I started thinking about what my life at college would be like, and I started creating characters in my head, and then that's how the series was born. I actually did not publish the first book until I was 34 last year, so that's a little bit about me. They're available in paperback on Amazon, and then through ebook through Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and iTunes. University of Maryland, Eastern Shore. It kind of was, because, you know, leaving high school, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm going to meet new people and have new experience. I couldn't wait to leave my high school. I couldn't wait to leave home. So, you know, in my characters and through this thing, like the events through the books, well, maybe I might meet people like this. Maybe I might be in some situations like this. So it kind of was. I'm not going to say I was that deep at 17 years old, but it was basically the concept. My writing allowed me to escape and escape into different worlds and to different characters and put myself into different characters, because was not as maybe bold as some of these characters, or, you know, wasn't having as much fun as some of these characters. So it kind of was like me living vicariously through them, and still to this day, for a certain extent. No, it's fiction. It is not about me. You know, of course, being the author, there's part of me in all of the characters. I mean, I created them, but it's, you know, people read the book. I don't want them. Don't come and ask me, hey, did this happen to you? It did not. This did not happen to me. This did not happen to me. It is fiction, but again, of course, the characters are a part of me, but it's not about my life. Well, the series does follow 5 women who start out not knowing each other, and throughout the series they become friends. So the book follows the lives of these 5 young women and their journey through their 4 years of college. Why it's 9 books is because you figure there's 4 years, two main semesters in a college year. So the 8 books are for the 4 years, 2 semesters in each year. The 9th book is going to be like after 5 years or so after college. That'll be the final book. So that's why it's 9 books. Each book tells the events that happen in that one college semester. So it does follow them through their journey. And it's not just girls, there are guys in there too, but the guys are like the supporting character. You know, how they deal, and these girls are very different, not only in appearance, but in upbringing, and, you know, how they handle conflict, how they handle drama, and even how they handle good times. And as each book progresses, each character develops a little bit more. So the series is basically character driven. Each character develops, each character goes through certain things that, you know, brings to light why they are the way they are in life. And they change as people should. They should progress, they should get better. So that's basically the concept of this series. And the characters go through all kinds of things that will affect, you know, students of that age, could affect students of that age. First of all, my series isn't street literature. It's not considered urban fiction. When I think of urban fiction, I think of street literature. I mean, I'm not saying it's all the same. My characters they're all black characters. I'm a black author, but my series basically, I want to say it's new adult, contemporary. It's not urban. And that's what differentiates me from the other writers that I've seen, or the other books that I've seen from black authors, and myself. It's not urban fiction. Not knocking urban fiction, but that's not what I write. I would love to have that be the case. And, you know, a lot of times when I'm in these urban fiction groups on Facebook and everything, you know, we share covers and, you know, stories, and people ask questions. So I have to I want it to be in a category where, you know, I would say urban fiction, but it's because of the type of books that are out in urban fiction, I kind of want to stay away from that title. Now, if we can get it to a point where urban fiction means, you know, black characters from all different types of storylines, then I would love to have my books in that category. But because and I hope to have that change one day, because, you know, when dealing with other authors, like major authors, it's not really did not categorize really into one type of genre. You know, it's fantasy, you know, YA fantasy or, you know, romance. It's not, you know, we're like African American urban fiction or African American erotica. It's like there's not too many other categories being an African American author that we can identify with. Even when I'm self-publishing and I'm going through, you know, trying to figure out what genre my books are in, is AA, street lit, urban fiction, you know, erotica. It's really not, or Christian fiction. It's really not anywhere for my books to go, and I would love to change that one day. That's basically how it was. You know, when I was a teenager, I read a lot of books, but I, you know, was writing as a hobby because I love to write. Like I've had to write. Like writing for me was a way for me to express myself. Writing for me, you know, when I was going through those teenage angst years when everything was just wrong all the time, even though it really wasn't. But I used my writing as a way to express myself, and when I write, it allows me to feel better after, you know, I'm upset or something like that. So writing was something that I had to do. It was a part of me. And, you know, I started writing this series, again, not because of what anybody else wrote, but because it's what I wanted to do. I didn't expect anybody to read it. It was just for me, basically. And, you know, I write what I like to read. So throughout the years, I was just writing the series, again, for myself and my sister, who snuck and read all my books, but now I let her read them willingly. Now she's like my biggest fan right now. But when I got to a point, you know, in my 30s, and I was trying to figure out what I want to do, and I said, well, I have these books, and I love them. You know, my sister loves them, and she's not the type of person to lie if something's not good. So I'm just, you know, well, maybe if I love them as much, and maybe somebody else will. Maybe somebody else will. So, you know, that's what inspired me to really publish. And it's also the fact that I feel like I know what I used to like to do as a teen was read, and I feel like a lot of our teens don't read anymore. It's a lot of social media things, social medias, TVs, all kinds of stuff, and I feel like maybe these characters will get my teens, and I won't say upper teens because of language, some language, but will get them to a point where they like to read again, and I'll write what I love to read and what I feel like other people at my age and even my age now would love to read. So that's what inspired me. It wasn't really any particular author that I read that inspired me to do that, because I don't want to be like any particular author. I want to be like myself. When I'm writing these characters, these storylines, is something that I'm passionate about. I can't, for me, write about sex, drugs, and videotape because I'm not passionate about that. That's not something that I identify with. That's not something that moves me or makes me laugh or, you know, as an author. And I need to be able, readers know when you write something or put out a book and you're not into it. They're smart. They know. And I can't, because I don't identify. And I feel like if I try to write something like that, it's not going to come off my best because I'm not into it. I'm just not into it. And again, I stand by whether I sell 5 copies, 1,000 copies, be bestseller, which I but you know, I'm always going to stand by what I write. I'm going to stand by my characters. I'm going to stand by my series, and I just can't, because even my husband asked me, he said, would you ever consider writing, you know, something in that genre or writing a book like that just to get your name out there? And I said, no, because that's not me. That's not me. And I always have to be myself 100% of the time, always. And I can't. I can't. Now, some may tell you, people may tell you authors to do that. I'm just not. Well, of course, when I first decided that I wanted to have my books published, first of all, I thought I would give it a shot back in my 20s, early 20s. And first of all, I sent unedited versions and they were crappy and bad query letters, so I'm not surprised that anybody rejected me. And at that time, I just didn't have the mentality to really, I said, oh, they don't want me, nobody likes it, I quit. And I'm just going to keep writing just, you know, for myself. Last year I was 34 and I decided to really put the work in and do what I have to do to really get my books ready to be published. So I hired an editor and everything. And of course I sent query letters because what author wouldn't want to be represented by, you know, a big agent and be signed by the top 6, I think it's top 5 now, major publishers. So yeah, I did that and I sent query letters, but When I come to realize is that the genre that I'm writing in, it's not something that's very popular right now. New adult, unless it's romance, it's not really popular right now. So, you know, agents, a lot of times, they really won't take, and I'm not saying all, but I queried some, and they really, you know, they rejected me. It could have been my query later, I don't know. But, so, I decided to self-publish, not only because of the fact that it's so new, and really people's really going to take a chance unless, you know, I make a big impact, but I like the control aspect of it. I hear stories about people being with, you know, publishers and they don't have control over their cover or their content or their title. And no, like, these are my babies. I birthed these at 17. That sounds weird, but I had these babies. You know, I had my babies, and I want to have control over everything when I'm putting them out, the content of them. I don't want to change my character's name because Josh and Jason sounds the same. No. And I want control over my covers, and so the process is. It's a hard process, especially doing it on your own, but I like it because I'm learning a lot, first of all. I'm learning the business, and again, I like the control aspect. And that's not to say that one day I wouldn't like to be represented by a major publisher, but right now, I'm good with self-publishing. And I'm hoping, you know, a lot of people do it, and again, it's hard work. You have to do a lot of research, you know, doing it, but basically the control thing and the fact that again, when I'm a genre or category I'm writing is not something that's very well known, and people aren't really rushing to represent something in this category. So, no, I try to keep the books, I would say, timeless. So I don't use dates like 2001, 2000. Like, I don't use dates, and I don't use, you know, Facebook, or not on, you know, because I try to keep them, like, I want somebody who's going to pick up the book maybe like 10 years from now, 5 years from now, really feel like that it's happening then. So I try to shy away from doing things that, you know, have a timestamp on it. Because I started this in 98, and when I read back, I'm like, nobody does that, and like, you know, so I want to try to keep the books timeless. So I don't really incorporate current, like real time events into my books. Again, being a black author, you know, I'm automatically kind of categorized into urban fiction author because I'm a black author who writes for black characters. And, you know, again, there's not many writers or black authors who write in the new adult, you know, I would say contemporary category. So when I'm in these Facebook groups, or, you know, these groups, and everybody's putting their covers up, and because the books are, you know, the groups are like urban fiction, urban, you know, urban book group, urban promotional group. So, like, so when I get in these, first of all, I don't want people to purchase something expecting one thing and then, I guess, have an attitude or be disappointed because it's not. So I like to give the disclaimer that my characters are black, but it's not urban fiction, and it's not street literature. So if you're looking for something different to read, by all means, please read my books and spread the word. But if you're looking for that type of street literature fiction, then my books aren't for you. And my thing is, I want people to genuinely read and enjoy my books, but I don't want them to be, because I'm in these black, you know, these all African American urban fiction groups, that they think that when they're buying my book, they're getting the same type of thing, and it's not. And I even have, you know, when I tell people that I'm a writer and that I wrote books, people say, oh, well, you might, is it urban fiction, is it street lit? I'm like, no. No, it's not. My characters are black, but it's not that category. So I feel like until we get to a place where, as I was saying earlier, that urban fiction is like more expanded as a category, then I feel like I have to let people know. If they ask me, people a lot of times will look at the covers and read the books and know that it's not the same thing. But sometimes, especially being in these groups, and I feel like I have to say something. Oh, absolutely. That is one of the ultimate goals that I want, is to turn this series into a TV show. Trust me, when I say, first of all, when I write these books, when I'm reading them back, they're playing like scenes from a TV show in my head. Wow. That's how I come up with, you know, the scenes, and how I try to I try to portray on paper what I see in my head, and they look like TV shows. Like, I see what the characters look like and everything. So yes, I would definitely want the series to be a TV show, and I even have a thing. Books 1 through 8 will be a TV show. Book 9, since that's the last one, will be a movie. So yeah, absolutely. And I've had readers of different ages, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and they all say, you know, even like one of my readers in her 50s, she said, I read this and I was in college a long time ago. And reading these character stories, I'm like, I can remember, you know, it takes me back to my college years, and I had a friend that was like this one, and I used to be like this one, and you know, so people identify with, you know, one or more characters, and they have their favorites, they have the ones they don't like, and I love the banter with people and their characters. But absolutely, like I see this being something major, but I have to be seen first, and I'm working on that, and I'm trying to pull myself out of, you know, and I say in these groups all the time when, you know, people, you know, ask questions, you know, do you think it's harder, you know, when you being a Black author not writing in urban fiction? I said it's harder because, you know, we have to, like I said, we have to break out of something that, you know, it's like a bubble around. It's the urban fiction, street literature thing. And but my thing is, I have to work harder because to get people to recognize what I'm writing. But once I do, I'll stand out for it. And once I stand out, then I see all this stuff happening. I see all this stuff happening. So yes, that's exactly what I'm planning on doing. I don't think it's because I'm a female. I I never thought about that when I'm, you know, I don't, because there are men and women authors, but I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that I'm a female that makes it more difficult. I think it's because I'm on this, feel like I'm on this island with this different type of concept, and this different type of book with Black characters and it being Black author. But I don't believe it's because I'm a female that makes it harder. I never thought about that. Well, see, I'm not thinking, well, I'm thinking beyond the series, but right now I'm more focused on the series, finishing the series. I have other ideas of what I want to write, but I have to get the characters out of my head because you're writing for the same characters for so long, and these characters become a part of you. And so when this, you know, when it's over, I'm like, what am I going to write? But I have ideas of things, like and basically some of them were taken from short stories I wrote in high school. So I have some ideas of things that I want to write that won't involve these characters, but for the meantime, I'm focusing on them and their books because I'm actually in the process of drafting the 7th book, and then I have 2 more to write after that. But I do have ideas for other stories with different type of characters, and they're growing in the back somewhere in my head. But right now, I'm focused on my babies right here. First of all, always be passionate about what you write about. That's because, again, if you're not into what you're writing, nobody else is going to be into what you're writing, and people can tell. So that's one thing, and realize that it may be more difficult once you get your book out there to try to, you know, bring attention to it, but keep pushing at it. Don't get discouraged. There are times when I, you know, got discouraged. I'm just like, do I really want to? I mean, I'm not quit writing because I would never quit writing. But I'm like, is all this worth it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Just keep pushing, keep going forward, and you know, when you get to a point where you feel like maybe it's too much, that you know you're being like overcrowded by all this other, the same type of books, the same type of, you know, genre, just realize that a popular item started from nothing. You know, a camera started from, as an idea, and it, you know, now it's a camera and everybody's buying it, everybody's using it. So you have to start from somewhere, and that's what I'm looking at. Like, you may not be popular now, but if you have the drive, if you have the patience, if you have the faith, if you work, because it's not just about praying and having faith, you have to work, because nothing's going to come to you easy, nothing's going to come to you without work. But you'll get there one day, and just keep pushing. Be passionate, you know, and keep pushing. That's all I have to say. I have a lot of supporters, like my husband, my sisters, my mother, you know, everybody. They definitely support me, and you know, especially my sister, because she reads them, and she's basically read every book before anybody else has. So she's constantly on me about, did you write that? Did you write? I'm like, I wrote. Okay, I'll give you the papers in a couple minutes. But yeah, I definitely have that support. My family is very supportive. My friends are very supportive of what I do. The paperback versions are available on Amazon, and ebook versions are available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, and through iBooks through iTunes. I published ebook and paperback because I love a paperback book. I like to hold a book and read and flip through pages, so that's why I decided to publish both. But yep, Amazon for both paperback and ebook, and then BarnesandNoble.com, iBooks, and Amazon, well, for ebook. I'm on Facebook under the name JB Vample. I have a fan site for my series called the College Life Series. That's also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Periscope, and Twitter with the handle JB Vample. I also have a website, www.jbvample.com. So I check that out. And also, through in my contacts are on a website also, but through email jbvample@yahoo.com.
I know who it is. My name is The Indicator. Indicator. Enough said on that one. Yo, what's up? You know what it is. It's your man, The Indicator.
Holla. Tune in, man.